If you're hunting for a compact, beginner-friendly telescope, you might have stumbled across the Skywatcher Heritage 130p. It promises large aperture views and an all-in-one tabletop design that's ready straight out of the box. But here's what surprised me. Despite glowing specs and a solid 4.4 rating, the Heritage 130p isn't the flawless stargazer's dream it's made out to be. In fact, there's a few hidden quirks and frustrations that could seriously impact your stargazing experience. So before you click buy, hold up. Let's dive deep and uncover what this telescope really delivers and where it falls short. First off, who is this telescope actually for? It's clearly aimed at budding astronomers and casual hobbyists who want something portable and straightforward. The Heritage 130p's 130 aperture is a standout. It lets in over 5 inches of light, which is impressive given its budget-friendly price of about $269. This large aperture is what promises breathtaking views of celestial objects, from the craters on the Moon to the rings of Saturn. What I like about the Heritage 130p is that it honors the spirit of John Dobson, the original Dobsonian telescope inventor who made astronomy accessible to everyday people. But if you're expecting a no-compromise sky machine, that's where the story takes a twist. Let's start with the design, which is both a strength and a weakness. The Heritage 130p integrates the optical tube and base into a compact tabletop Dobsonian, a clever idea for portability. Out of the box, there's no assembly required, which is fantastic if you want to skip the headache of setup. It comes with two 1.25-inch eyepieces, 10 and 25 mm, and a star pointer finder scope, everything you need to get started. On paper, this should be a perfect beginner's all-in-one kit. But here's the catch. The tabletop design means you need a sturdy, steady surface to place it on, otherwise, viewing stability suffers. If your table shakes or wobbles, your images will too, which can be incredibly frustrating when you're trying to lock onto faint stars or distant galaxies. So, mechanism-wise, it's simple and intuitive, but setup location matters more than you might realize. Now on to optics, a key part of any telescope. The Heritage 130p uses borosilicate mirrors coated with aluminum and quartz, pushing mirror reflectivity to about 94%. This is excellent for a telescope in this price range. The parabolic primary mirror helps provide sharp, bright images, which is exactly what you want when scanning the night sky. But despite the good mirror coatings, some users report issues with collimation, meaning the mirrors can drift out of alignment. When that happens, image sharpness suffers and you'll spend more time tweaking than actually observing. Even though collimation tools and tutorials are widely available, this can be a discouraging hurdle for absolute beginners who might just want to enjoy the view without tinkering. Oh, and speaking of tinkering, trying to adjust that finder scope, star pointer, can sometimes feel like trying to thread a needle with mittens on, frustratingly imprecise at first. Here's a joke to lighten things up. Why did the astronomer bring a ladder? Because the stars were out of reach. But really, the Heritage 130p brings the stars within reach if you're patient. Another point to consider is the size and weight. While it's designed to be portable for a full aperture 130 Dobsonian, it's still not a pocket rocket. At about 20 pounds, it's easy enough to carry, but less so to casually bring on a hike or spontaneous trip. And since the design relies on a table or elevated surface, if you're camping under the stars without a suitable base, setup becomes tricky. If you thought you could just toss it in a backpack and be star hopping in minutes, you might be surprised. Think of it more like your trusty coffee table telescope. You'll want a good place to set your brew and your telescope. In terms of value, the Heritage 130p gives you solid bang for your buck, but with several compromises. Skywatcher's 2-year warranty is a nice reassurance, covering defects in materials and workmanship, but it doesn't cover user mishaps or the minor maintenance needed to keep the optics in peak shape. Besides, compared to telescopes priced similarly, The Heritage 130p's optics outperform many starter models that have smaller apertures or less quality coatings. You get the brightness and clarity thanks to its large mirror, but the simplicity comes at the cost of some stability and ease of use. Now let me ask, would you rather get a telescope that's work-ready but sometimes demands fiddly maintenance, or one that's ultra-easy but sacrifices aperture and brightness? The Heritage 130p leans toward the former. This question is crucial because your patience and willingness to learn how to collimate mirrors and position the setup will define your satisfaction. Here's another rehook. If you think fun astronomy should come with zero headaches, wait till we hit the 130p's quirks. Many users love the Heritage 130p for lunar and planetary views. Seeing the craters on the Moon or the rings of Saturn is genuinely thrilling on this scope. However, deep sky objects like galaxies or nebulae, while visible, can be less impressive due to the limited fainter light gathering compared to larger Dobsonians. Small apertures mean smaller glimpses into the cosmic wilderness, which beginners might not anticipate. So if your dreams include detailed views of faint, messier objects, keep in mind this telescope offers a taste, but not a gourmet meal. One common complaint is that the telescope's altitude and azimuth movement can feel a bit jerky or sluggish out of the box, causing trouble when tracking moving objects across the sky. This can be discouraging during long viewing sessions, especially for newbies who want to build momentum and enthusiasm quickly. The smooth motion of a telescope might seem like a tiny perk, but when you lose sight of a planet or star because of stiff controls, you start to crave better mechanics. Luckily, many users report that with some lubrication and minor tweaks, movements can be improved. And now a light joke break. Why do astronomers make great comedians? Because they always have their jokes spaced out. But seriously, managing expectations about ease of use can save future frustration. Storage is another point. The Heritage 130p's all-in-one design means it's bulky but more compact than traditional Dobsonians. Still, you'll need reasonable shelf or cabinet space for it at home. Unlike smaller refractors that can tuck into backpacks, this scope demands a permanent nook unless you're okay with taking it out and putting it away regularly. It's a bit like owning a pet iguana, fun, but you need a dedicated habitat. Let's talk accessories. The included 10 and 25 eyepieces cover both higher and lower magnifications, which are great starting points. The included star pointer finder scope helps beginners target celestial objects without fancy electronics. But be warned, some reviewers mention the star pointer's alignment can be fiddly, and its low magnification means sometimes you might feel like you're hunting for a needle in a cosmic haystack. Upgrading eyepieces or adding a laser pointer finder later on can significantly boost your experience but adds to the budget. One little tip: when you're out under the sky, give your eyes time to adjust to darkness and use the red dot finder to quickly spot objects. It's like having a cosmic GPS, albeit a quirky one that needs some patience to calibrate. If you're prepared for this learning curve, the 130p's optical performance can still deliver memorable, bright views. By the way, here's another astronomy joke for the road. How do you organize a space party? You plan it. And with the Heritage 130p, you can at least start planning your stargazing party. Now, if you're worried about the commonly asked question, should I upgrade from the Heritage 130p to a larger Dobsonian? The answer depends on your commitment. If you're serious and want the best views, larger apertures of 8 or 10 inches open up far deeper cosmic vistas. But those come with heft, higher prices, and typically more complicated setup. The Heritage 130p strikes a unique balance, large enough to impress beginners but not so big to overwhelm. To sum it all up, the Skywatcher Heritage 130p is a fantastic entry point into amateur astronomy. Its large 130mm aperture delivers stunning views of the Moon, planets, and some brighter deep sky objects. Its compact, portable design and included accessories mean you can start exploring the night sky immediately without assembling parts or spending extra. Yet it isn't without its quirks. Table stability matters, collimation can be a challenge. The star pointer finder takes some adjusting, and its movements need a gentle touch. If you see yourself as a patient learner who's willing to get hands-on, enjoy tinkering, and value brilliant optics for a budget price, the Heritage 130p is a star-worthy choice. But if you want a zero-fuss scope to whip out anytime with no setup hassle, you might want to consider other options or budget for added equipment. Ultimately, the enjoyment of stargazing lies not only in the gear, but in the thrill of discovery and the serenity of the night sky. The Heritage 130p gives you a solid telescope to start this journey, with a nod to the legacy of John Dobson himself, making astronomy accessible and fun. Ready to take your first giant leap into space observation? Check out the Skywatcher Heritage 130p on Amazon for the best price. The link is waiting for you in the description below. Remember, every great astronomer started with their first telescope, and who knows, this compact Dobsonian could be yours. Happy stargazing!